Hello and welcome to Single Parent Success Stories. Today's guest is Ramona Friesen, who is joining us from Cochrane, Alberta, Canada. She's a single mom of two amazing teenage daughters. She believes everyone needs to be celebrated, and that's why she is using her story to make a difference. Welcome, Ramona. It is a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much, Irina.
And
Pleasure
I'm
to
glad to finally be connected and we're able to make this happen after 2 years.
Yeah.
Awesome. Please share with us your story. How did you become a single mom? What are some of the struggles that you faced?
So I was married for 10 years, and I finally got the courage to leave domestic violence from my husband after the 10 long years. He always threatened that he had money and I had a past. My past was that I went through PTSD, and he was going to use that against me to get the children. And so I stayed thinking that I was stuck. And I finally got some help um, through good friends, a neighbor next door who was a retired psych nurse, and helped me walk through it and gave me the courage and the strength to leave. And so even when we went to the courts, I was obviously fighting for custody of my children.
Mhm.
And my ex has lots of money and his family as well. And basically, he used my past, which was I went through sexual harassment and stalking of a ambulance course that I took and suffer PTSD. And he said, "You're crazy. I'm going to use that." The judge even looked at him and said, "You know, how many years ago was that?"
Mhm.
And I said 20. And the judge said, you know, to my ex-husband, "You're the crazy one." And so anyway, through a long series of events, 11 years ago, I fled domestic violence. He was arrested. He was charged with death threats. He was charged with assault. They were looking into an investigation of sexual abuse my daughter had disclosed. And my children would return to me with fractures, bruises, broken bones. And there's a good side to this story, but it was very difficult. And even after all of that was disclosed to the courts, my ex-husband was granted sole custody of our daughters. And so obviously, as anyone out there who's a good mom or dad, grandparent, um, it's been absolute heartbreaking. And you never in your wildest dreams think that's going to happen. I thought, well, we could just do 50-50 custody and we'll move on. He even told the courts he didn't want the children. So at any rate, he went across Canada and the States. I'm a musician, and he went to my family and everybody and lied and said that he was going to um, go to jail as a pedophile, and which wasn't true. And so they believed him, and he got custody. My family later saw another side of him and went, "Wait a minute, he's not all he's cracked up to be, and Ramon is telling the truth." And they wrote in my favor, and the judge did not take that. So I thought I was alone. I spiraled down into depression, and tried to work 4 or 5 jobs just to make ends meet. I was working at a farm. They had 3 different companies there. I was doing all that and teaching piano. And then I finally went back to church. And there was a friend of mine I met in a ladies' Bible study. And she said, "Ramona," she said, "have you heard of Francesca?" And I said, "Oh, no, what's she all about?" And she said, "You're not the only one. I'm going through what you're going through. This lady has gone through it. She's got an organization called Punished for Protecting." And I said, "What's that all about?" Well, I started doing some research, started talking to other moms in the community where I live, and found out that the courts have kind of a almost like a formula. So it seems like people that have money, and also people that can lie and just have power, or narcissistic, and try to paint the other parent as mentally unstable or financially unstable, seem to get custody. So we started to put all this together in a support group here in Cochrane. And locally, I was handed the reins by a mom who'd been through it, and her kids were older, aged out. She said, "Ramona, you're the perfect person." I said, "I don't want any of this. I just want to get my kids back." And so I met Francesca online. We still haven't met in person, but she's a wonderful mom out of the US. She lost custody of her son, Christian, and she actually wrote a book. She has her own podcast, her own YouTube channel. She's actually met with Congress and gone to them and said, "Listen, you know, you guys are breaking the law here. The children are not safe. My own son was not safe. I got him back. We need to mandate change in the justice system. So she started doing research, and I found that even cross-border, it was the same formula, exact same thing. And we put our heads together. She's got training. I started in on her training, and I just said, I want support to get my daughters back. And then she started talking to me privately, and she said, Ramona, you've got the skills. Well, she didn't know that I'd gone back to school and I was going to finish a degree in psychology. So I was encouraged by friends and family to go back and make a difference because I was helping other moms in a support group. Just because we all needed help and encouragement, and we were all crying and breaking down and saying, okay, enough is enough. We got to do something. And so I went back to school. I studied justice, psychology, criminology, human trafficking, and I don't have a degree yet because of financial constraints. I ran out of student loans. They cut you off after a certain period of time. So I'm in the repayment plan and been through a lot financially. And so I put my studies on hold. And so currently I'm back to working as a preschool teacher. I'm certified in that and absolutely loving it. Yes, and I play the piano, so I've thrown myself back into my music. I've done a CD, my first CD last Christmas, and yeah, I can just show it to you. It's called Warrior in White, and not my own saying, but my friends were like, "Why don't you call yourself Warrior in White? Because you're fighting the good fight."
That's
And so,
amazing.
thank you,
Congratulations.
thank you. So my daughter actually designed the cover.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So at any rate, there's a song on there called When a Baby Smiles. Heaven's in her eyes, and all the hard times seem to disappear for just a while, that I wrote. So I started giving back. I started doing this, and then Francesca approached me with her board of people there, her not governors, but through Punish for Protecting. And she said, how would you like to lead Canada wide? And I said, whoa, I don't like public speaking. I hide behind my piano. I'm not a public speaker. And so she said, but Ramona, the good Lord highlighted you. There's something on you, and you have such a passion for children and for moms and dads that are going through this. And so that's what I did. In fact, this afternoon, I'm back to work, even though it's a holiday here. I've hired an assistant, and we have a proven program. And on this note, I'm done. We have a proven program. We finally have a remedy in both Canada and the States. Oh, and I should just mention, Punish for Protecting is actually worldwide. So it's not just Canada and the States. We're actually, I believe, in South Africa, Uganda. I'm trying to remember which other countries. I'm sorry, I should brush up on this. So we actually mandate change, and we hold the government, the courts, Child and Family Services, CPS, police, lawyers, exes accountable for what they are doing to children. And so we actually, on our board, we are working and putting this together, but currently we have 2 military, we have a former justice of the peace, we have 2 counselors, possibly a 3rd psychologist coming on to assist with the trauma that moms and dads are facing as they lose custody. And there's a gal that actually has her own publishing company that's been through this as well. So this is where I'm not a one-woman team. And so we've put this together. So it's kind of a one-stop place that people that are going through the courts can get assistance, encouragement. We actually have a support group. We're starting a prayer and meditation group on Friday nights for parents going through this. And we have a regular Facebook page that we are just revamping right now. It is up and running, but we're going to be making some changes to this, just finding out legally what we can and cannot do. And so the other thing that's very exciting is, thank you so much. I'm so grateful and so humbled to be able to get my story out. Where I'm coming from is a place of forgiveness, of realizing that we're all broken, and my ex and the courts, they all need help. They need forgiveness. They need change. I needed change. I still have a long ways to go. And that the best thing I ever heard, and I'm not religious, I just love the good Lord, and that is that the ground is level at the foot of the cross. We all have stuff. Like, God doesn't look at this person as better and this one. And LGBTQ, you're welcome. Moms, dads, doesn't matter. I just want everybody to know that you're loved no matter what. You're celebrated. Your children are celebrated. And we will get through this. And next Monday, this is the start of it with the interview with you, Irina. Thank you so much. And I'm glad that we finally connected. And next Monday, we are actually being interviewed on national television telling our stories. So if anybody wants more information on that, certainly I can provide that. And we're working on a website. Please bear with us. We are embryonic in Canada and just getting going. So we do have the Facebook page. We do have the support group. And like I said, we've got something called phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Finally, phase 1 is the emergency application or affidavit to go to the courts to state, listen, my children, when there's an ABRA alert and your children have been apprehended wrongfully, we assist and we step in with that. Number 2 is phase 2, where it's a little bit more in detail if you've got a trial coming up. And then phase 3 is obviously long-term if it's been going on for years. But our mandate, our change is let's get you in, get you out. And the courts are corrupt, and we've got a new system where we do have rights and the children have a voice. So thank you.
That's incredible. I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your story. And I think you are on an incredible mission to bring justice for people who are not heard, for people who think that they are by themselves, but they're not. Thanks to you, you're bringing it all together. What kind of advice would you give to your younger self?
Ooh. I would say take care of you. Don't listen to all the voices of other people. I grew up in a wonderful family, but very Mennonite, very strict, very militant. And I would say, yeah, be true to yourself, be kind to yourself. I'm learning that now at my age and thinking, oh my goodness, it's okay to have a voice. It's okay to stand up, and it's okay to take some time, and it's okay to say no.
This is definitely true.
Thank you.
And learning to ask for help is also important. And I learned it the hard way when I dislocated my knee and I was sitting on the floor, not being able to get up. And I never called 911 ever in my life. So this was, it was like, if I don't call now, nobody's going to come and rescue me. So I did. And lesson was that it's okay to ask for help. It's never too late. It's not bad. It's a question of self understanding that you gotta because if you stay quiet, if you stay silent, nobody's gonna know that something is wrong.
That's right.
What do you think is a most important trait to instill in a child?
Sorry, dealing with a child?
To instill in a child, what kind of trait? Kindness, compassion, or confidence? What would you say is most important?
I would say it's twofold. Definitely kindness, but if you're not kind to yourself, how can you be kind to others? Mm-hmm. Confidence and honor. That's our word. It's just become such a beautiful cultivating a place, a safe space for yourself, for others, and cultivating a place of honor and respect. And from there, everything else flows. But loving yourself and truly, I'll just give it a little snippet. Every Christmas, my daughters and I have, since they were little, they're teenagers now, obviously, but before they are able to open their presents, they actually have to get one box filled each of toys, stuffies, even now it's like jewelry or nail polish or whatever, mm-hmm. and they have to go and bring it to a women's shelter or to the YWCA or whatever, and give back, and then we open the presents. So obviously we set it aside because Christmas everything's closed, but that's one thing I've instilled in them, is to give back, and that was what was instilled in me. So that's a beautiful trait. I just want them to grow up to love themselves, love the good Lord, and love others. That's it. So
yeah, I love that. I think it's an incredible tradition, and it keeps clutter out of the home before you get your new stuff. Let's clean up like one box out and help somebody as well. So it's an amazing tradition to have.
Thank you.
Incredible. I love it. I'm learning from my guests that are coming, because everybody's sharing their tradition. One of the guests shared, how they have a gratitude jar, and every night before they go to sleep, just the family writes one little word, what they're grateful for. And then once a year, maybe around Christmas or Thanksgiving, they open that jar and they share how amazing life is. Because if you feel sad, if you feel something is not working, you can use that gratitude jar is like, wow, it is working. And look how many blessings we already have that we maybe forget on a day-to-day living or take for granted. Like I took walking for granted until I wasn't able to walk. And now I'm all good. But
Yep.
trivial things that we never think about, like breathing or speaking or seeing, we take them for granted.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. That's amazing.
What kind of advice would you give to single parents who are just stepping on the journey of single parenting? And I understand single parents could be, through divorce, or maybe some people decided to be single parent. But from your perspective, what kind of advice would you give to yourself, maybe when you were just became like, what would you share?
hmm like you said earlier, don't be afraid to ask for help. I was pretty self-sufficient. I've had my own business, and so for me, it was hard to say it's okay to ask for help. I thought I was embarrassed. Even last night, I had to reach out and ask for help from a friend who knows finance as well, and it was embarrassing but humbling. But when this person said, "Wow, I love to help," I realized that I'm actually kind of ripping them off, stealing from them. Um, if I don't take the help. And the other thing is I can't stress self-care enough. Um, I was pouring so much into my children's lives that I forgot about me. And that's not a good place to be. Even so much as taking time off from work and things to be with them, which is important. But at the same time, when you need money coming in, I would say take care of yourself first. And also take time to breathe. My dad used to say that before piano competitions. And I thought that's kind of silly, but he said, he was a trained counselor, and he said you forget to breathe when you're full of anxiety or you're worried about something. And before I competed in piano, like I said, it was like the shoulders went up, and so we do deep breathing with my daughters as well, just to and take that time to ground yourself. And also, I find that music is so helpful. Put on some calm music. It just settles everything down. And obviously, being a preschool teacher, we had to do that last week with 24 children. And it was amazing. So we as adults forget that. We forget. And I forgot that often. So that would be the biggest thing. Take care of yourself. Do the activities that you love. Don't put yourself on hold to, especially parents that are going through what I'm going through, with the horrific abuse and loss of custody. We pour ourselves into our children, we lose ourselves, and then the children see that and they forget to take care of themselves. So really, we're a walking mirror.
You're so right that we forget about and taking small like breathing, like just taking a little bit out of your day. I recommend to people to practice 10 minutes of joy every day. Do something that sets your soul on fire. 10 minutes or more every day. Just like you brush your teeth to have good oral hygiene, practice 10 minutes of joy to have happiness muscle, to have something you look forward to every single day. A little pick me up.
Yes.
Do you have a hero? Who is your hero?
I definitely do. And obviously the good Lord or Jesus, but I would have to say two people. One is my dad, and he passed 6 years ago of cancer. But he overcame a lot of obstacles, a lot of difficulty. And there's also a lady, she's passed on now, I believe. And she used to go around, I remember as a child, she was the bless you lady. And she would not allow negativity to come in. So she would walk around. She lost two husbands, one to cancer and one to, I think, a car accident. And I was just a little girl. And I remember going to visit her. They were good friends of my parents. And she said, bless you, sweetie, bless you, so-and-so. And it was so genuine. I wanted to be the bless you lady. And yeah, there's one more, and that's Lori. She's one of my best friends. She's fought cancer and beat it. And now they're looking at possibly another growth. And we're just speaking out that it's not cancer. We're believing that for her. But they're the most positive people, that they still bless people that are still hurting them. They have good boundaries, but that they don't take that into their soul. And that is, for me, is huge. is realizing that even broken people break other people and to bless others. So
Yes, yes, I love it. It's incredible. And we are not all broken. We are just forgotten who we truly are.
oh, I love that. Yes, the identity.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
could learn lots from you.
We all have come through some sort of trauma when we were little, when we were kids. And in any relationship, in any situation, whether you are married or you're a colleague with somebody or your boss or an employee, we all have those pieces of ourselves that we have forgotten. And
Yes,
as we grow older, it is up to us to remember those pieces and to recognize them and
right.
move forward. What would you say is your proudest accomplishment this far in your life?
Um, definitely the girls. Excuse me. Definitely my daughters. Absolutely, without a question. Um, everything else fades, but definitely my daughters and just building into their lives. Have I made mistakes? Absolutely, and I still continue to do so. But that would be my biggest accomplishment, aside from obviously, work or that sort of thing. But definitely my daughters, without question.
Yes, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
If you could choose to go back in the past,
Mhm.
what would you do differently, if anything?
I would start every day. I love that gratitude jar. I wish I'd heard about it years ago. um, I would be more positive. I would definitely refrain from, take more time out just to, like I said, take care of myself, but also to work more on myself, to realize who I am, because now it's come full circle where I'm realizing my identity, who I am, is not in my children. It's not in my piano playing. It's not in my job. It's not in my position as Canadian advocate for children. It is who I am, Ramona Friesen, beautifully and wonderfully made, and every day ordained for me is written down ahead of time as everybody else. It's what it says in Psalm 139, that every day is ordained for us. So if that's the case, God knew ahead of time. That's my belief, is that, he knew we were going to go through this. It's how we respond to it rather than react. So I would take more time. And the biggest thing is, I've seen in both my children, I guess I have to say that they're my heroes too, because one is so quiet and she will take time. And then when she speaks, it's so profound. And the other one is my little firecracker. And so she will just speak out. And both of them have taught me so much. So knowing when to say things at the right time, but being to thine own self be true. And my daddy said that on his deathbed. He said, to thine own self be true. So
Yes. And children are our greatest teachers. They show, like, if we get triggered, it means there is a part of us, unloved part of us, that we still don't recognize. So when they show it to us as a mirrors, we gotta turn inward and think.
isn't that the truth? I'm sure you experienced that with your children.
Every day.
Yes, yes, yeah. Yeah, a friend of mine said something interesting just recently. She said, and she has 4 children and raising a baby now,
Oh, wow.
her sister's little guy. But she said to me, Ramona, she said, until we heal our fragmented parts, that from our childhood is actually going to recognize with the fragmented parts of other people. And that's going to draw just like almost like fire to a flame, that you're going to look at that and you need to heal that part of you so that the toxicity in your children, in work situations, doesn't continue that pattern. And I thought about that. I thought, each of us, and I read a quote a while ago. It said marriage is to help each other finish childhood. And I thought, oh boy, I don't think marriage is so much, but it's the biggest quote that I think about with, it sounds a little negative, but with love and relationships was, until we heal, we will meet someone else. We will be in relationship with them. We will bleed, and we will call that love. And I thought, wow, I don't want to do that. So that's my biggest thing is, yeah, like I said, healing the little girl inside of you so that that doesn't resonate with other people, that the healed parts of us and our identity. And it's okay to be who we are. It's okay to, you know, I have a thing that a friend of mine gave me, if I can show you it. It's so beautiful. It's the piano. It said, "It is well with my soul."
Oh,
I
nice.
have
I love
my,
it. It's
isn't
beautiful.
it?
Mhm.
So every day I look at that and I think, wow, it's a choice. It is well with my soul.
Mhm.
So, and if it isn't, I'm going to get help and I'm going to move on. And so,
Yeah. Do you have any practices that you do daily to maintain your well-being?
I do. I love to walk. So I go for a walk and I call it a prayer walk. So I just, release the negative energy and pray and just let it go to God and my frustration. There's nobody around, great big field behind where I live. And so just started doing the walks again since I moved here. And the other thing is, normally I sit down at the piano and I play my heart out and I talk through the piano. The other thing is that I take time every morning, every evening, and not just, I used to just do morning and evening, but now throughout the day, I'll just, even at work, just quickly go and get a coffee or grab a glass of water and just, recite a verse or a thought. I love sayings. I collect sayings.
Mhm.
Just, yeah, go
What's
over
your
that.
favorite saying?
Oh boy, I have so many. Um, Put me on the spot. I'll have to think about that and come back to that.
Okay.
I actually do have one. I do have one, and I put it up. I have called you by your name, you are mine. And that's actually a verse. So I love that because that grounds me and brings me right back
Mhm. Mhm.
who I am.
Thank you. I love it.
You're
It's
welcome.
incredible, and it is important, like, to pause during the day and sit down and think of a thought or a thing where you don't think about anything else and you just focus on one thing. It grounds you and it brings you into the present moment. Because
Yes,
oftentimes we rush through with our thoughts, either in the future or in the past, and we miss the present moment. And the present moment is all we have. It's from the present moment that we create our future with our thoughts, with our feelings and emotions. So I love those practices to just forget what's going on and zoom in.
that is so beautiful. I needed to hear that today. Wow, you're getting me emotional. I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome. If people would like to connect with you, where would they go?
Okay, so we have Voice for Kids 2020, or sorry, Voice for Kids 22 at gmail.com. We also have Canadian, it's a mouthful, Canadian Offspring Hope Advocacy is our name on Facebook. And I am meeting later this afternoon with our website designer. So we do have a website coming. In the meantime, if you're really desperately trying to find out what we're about, how we've mandated change, you can go to Francesca's website as well, because we are an affiliate with her. And it's punished, the number 4, beingaparent.com. So that is her website, but we're part of the same organization. And us being Canadian, we decided with their permission to change the name. That's why we go by Voice for Kids and obviously 2022. So we've gotten permission to use that name as long as we also use Punish for protecting. So
Thank you. Yeah.
you're very welcome.
We will include all of the links in the episode notes. Is there anything I haven't asked that you would like to share?
I think you've talked about self-care. You've done a fantastic job. I appreciate that. I just want to let people know that they are not alone. And obviously our identity is number one. I wish I learned that years ago. And quite honestly, I mean, it's never too late to change, never too late to heal. But the other thing is I was going to say is that we are a one-stop shop, like I said, and I hate to say shop when you're talking about people's lives, but we are here to mandate change. And please, if you can't afford our services, we do have a sliding scale and we never turn anybody away. That is our mandate. That's our mission. We do obviously have prices for child advocacy because it takes a lot of paperwork and printing and all of that to do the affidavits, the notice. I can certainly, you can certainly get in contact with me. But the biggest thing I would say is that identity and self-care and breathing, and recognizing the joy every day, because it's that tomorrow's never promised. And I learned that with losing my dad. So, and that. So thank you. I think you've covered everything and then some. I'm going to go away from this and, like I said, make notes and rewatch it. And I can't wait to be on further podcasts with you and work together with you and find out about your services, because I know I need that. So
awesome. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your story. And I think your mission is important. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. I'm so humbled. Thank you so much for the opportunity.